It's Rik Turner from Omdia, and I'm here with Kevin Keh, who is the IT Professional Practices Lead for ISACA. Well, basically, we're here to talk a bit about emerging technologies, more specifically, and I'll let Kevin get into it in a minute, but basically a stackable certification that they've launched in 4 very interesting areas of emerging tech. Kevin, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. So yes, as you've mentioned, at ISACA, we are a global nonprofit association covering many different countries throughout the world. We have over 150,000 members and over 200 different local chapters. So what we do have is our certification, but here we're going to talk about our new stackable 2 new programs. One is the IT Certified Associate, ITCA, and the other one that we want to focus on is a Certified in Emerging Tech, so CET. And what I mean by stackable is that standalone, if you want to learn about a program, say AI, IoT, blockchain, and cloud, you go into these individual programs, you learn about them, and you can get a certificate if you pass individual exams. Now, if you want to further your progress on these topics and emerging tech as a whole, you can gain pass all 4 certificate exams and gain a certification. So this is a full-fledged certification, again, mentioning cloud, IoT, AI, and blockchain.
I want to start with blockchain, if I may. Blockchain was hot for a while. It was one of those topics that we were all talking about a few years back, about 3-4 years ago, when it was, of course, the underpinning for Bitcoin, and everyone was had the hots for Bitcoin a few years back. Then this last year, with the pandemic, Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies have been back on everybody's lips. But I think since then, the big change is that we've begun to realize that the more important aspect is not just making money with cryptocurrencies, but the blockchain technology that underpins it. And as a cybersecurity man myself, I come across it all the time, primarily in the area of identity, underpinning identity services with blockchain, and of course also of supply chain technology. Tell us a little bit about blockchain and what the certification might be promoting and enabling for, if you would, Kev.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, it's gaining a lot of traction, as you can see, also with the newer generation with NFTs and being able to trade and buy videos and what have you, just images. But specific to the CET program, one of the domains is blockchain, and it's a hybrid exam. So what that means is you have the theoretical understanding and questions, so multiple choice questions. And then the second half, you also have a performance-based. And this is where it gets a little interesting is, sometimes you can just, kind of take the multiple choice answers, kind of make your best guess. There is no of that in the performance-based. You either know it or you don't. You either know how to execute a task or you just don't. So with blockchain, you're really understanding what makes up the blockchain. We have labs covering Hyperledger and how the hash methods incorporate into the blockchain and how that all works. And that's all executed through performance-based learning. So we also have, ISACA has a blockchain framework and guidance that just came out. So this is not only the history, the essentials of blockchain and the technology itself, but it also provides a framework for enterprises to leverage when adopting these types of technologies.
Excellent, excellent stuff. Look, the next one I want to move on to, of the 4 there that you've got, we've talked a bit about blockchain. But I must bring us on to AI, artificial intelligence. It seems to be just about everywhere at the moment, and it even has sort of rather significant political overtones because obviously China is forging forward with its IA research and use in all kinds of different ways of understanding people, maybe even controlling them in the case of some companies and some countries. But in any case, AI is very much relevant in cybersecurity as well. Folks are using it to some extent to supplement their shortfall of skilled staff. It's helping to power automation. So AI is very much the flavor of the month in cybersecurity right now. Tell us a bit about what goes on with this certification in AI and what someone taking this certification can expect when they come out the other end.
Right. So this domain, as you mentioned, has the umbrella of AI, and there's discrepancies between, AI, machine learning, robotic process automation. So it goes into the differences, what makes up these differences. And again, this is also a hybrid exam that is theoretical, asking a question, multiple choice, and also the performance based of a lot of these RPA methodologies and how to execute these tasks. You are in a live virtual environment. Oftentimes it's multiple different VMs, different networks, different subnets. And these VMs can be placed in front of you. And again, asking questions about RPA and what is the fundamental part of AI and its programming. So it will put you into not only a VM, but also an IDE with programming and put you in front of the code itself and the program itself and able to, who knows what, predicting the password complexity of your passwords, just things like that. And again, it's crazy how much traction this is gaining, whether we're talking about AI, ML, RPA, and we have a state of cyber security for 2021. It's a report that covers the data analytics of where we are in cybersecurity. And when asked, security managers and security leaders, how many of you use some sort of AI in your security operations? And 34% of them said they do in some capacity. So I thought that was a crazy stat to sum it all up on how prevalent this technology is.
Yeah, how far it's come already. Right, the other two are of the other two. One of them is perhaps a less nebulous one, to use a pun there. The less nebulous of the two being the Internet of Things. And so interesting certification, this one. What about this one? What should your practitioners going into this certification, what should they expect or coming out the other side?
So not only the fundamentals of IoT and the different types, I mean, geez, you have industrial IoT, home IoT, and how prevalent that is. I mean, I can't even count how many different IoT devices I have in my house, let alone this room. So just understanding the importances, but also emphasizing the security flaws in IoT. This is not my saying, I've heard it, so I don't want to take credit for it, but I've heard the S in IoT stands for security. And I thought that was funny because when we utilize these devices, they're very practical and they're very useful for our everyday lives, but what they're not including is the security aspect of it. And this program emphasizes on some of these gaps in security, whether it's analyzing packets using, say, Wireshark to see the data being traversed through the network, whether it's encrypted, unencrypted, IP addresses, port numbers, all that kind of stuff. So again, not only focusing on the different types and how they're useful in our everyday lives, as well as enterprise uses, but also the lack of security aspect and how to patch those things up.
Marvelous. Kev, thank you very much for the explanation. So thank you very much indeed, one and all, and we'll speak very soon. Bye.
Thanks, Rick.